Jude here with Limitless Education Group today, coming at you to bring you another video on this emotion that we call fear. And so again, looking at what is fear, who is fear, why is fear, what is fear, when is fear, and what you could do about fear. Okay, let's hop into it. What is fear? Fear is that feeling that you get when you feel like something is about to happen to you, or something that you really something that you don't want is about to happen. But when you think about it, you don't want it, but you create it, because all fear starts in our mind, right? And the way that we create in our world is through first in our mind, and then through this physical action of creation. So the fears that we have are self-inflicted, but we have to understand, okay, where does that fear come from? It's coming from when you were there. It's a learned trait, we can say. It's a learned thing. Babies aren't born in the world with fear. They have to be taught that. So in that same vein, at some point you were taught the fears that you have, whether it's a fear around money, it's a fear around relationships, it's a fear around other people. This was all something that was, say, taught, or you can say programmed into you as a child, right? So that is, a surface level what the origin of fears are, why they exist. Your parents, your society, your community had impulsed you from a young age with these different fears that you have. So these fears are not your own fears, and that's what we have to first understand. The fears that you have aren't your fault, but you are responsible for understanding them and for correcting them, for changing them, right? But we have to understand why something like this would exist in the first place, because there's no reason for us to be afraid, right? We live in a beautiful world where there's so much abundance, there's so much opportunity, but yet we would only limit ourselves because of the thoughts, the feelings, the fears that we have towards the world outside of us, right? But that world outside of us is a reflection of the world outside, or what the world within you. So to understand our fear, you have to understand why it was created, right? The system, as you will, has impulsed us with fear, because guess what? Fear makes a lot of people a lot of money, right? If you're afraid that you're going to die because you don't have a specific medication, there's a company behind that that's making money off of that fear, that's making money off of that medication. If you die, your family is going to be left without anything, and they can't be able to provide for themselves. There's a lot of money, there's a lot of companies behind that are making money selling you insurance so that you can keep paying them for the rest of your life, right? And then when you die, hopefully your family actually gets paid, but you don't really know at that point. So they're selling you on that fear of what's going to happen if I don't do this, on what's going to happen. That's actually why fear exists. It's tied up in our system of money, so that people that are able to place you in fear are able to capitalize off of that fear. And you'd never understand if you didn't have a conversation like this, if you didn't just at least think about where that comes from and why. And so that's the whole purpose of what we're doing here, is to support more and more people to really have conversations like this and think about where do my emotions come from, what are my emotions, what's the bigger purpose of them, and who placed them within me, or what placed them within me, and what can I do with them or about them. And the thing is, these emotions are not a bad thing per se, right? The emotions are here to support you, especially fear, to understand what is happening, right? Think of it as like a GPS, a guidance system in your life, so that you understand, okay, what's happening right now and why. So, and what can I do to change the situation within me, which would change the situation outside of me, right? Within you or outside of you. Okay, so how can you walk these fears out, right? Because again, when you're trapped in fear, which, as I think we spoke at some point before, that these fears come from your doubts. When you're trapped in fear, you are less likely to take action, or you're going to take a very, 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 we'll say, action that's not best for you. And if it's not best for you, it's not best for the people around you, right? You can start going into anger and resentment and blame, because these emotions cascade very, very quickly. So the way to get out of your fear is, well, the most simplest way is to start sharing, right? Start talking about what you're going through. Surround yourself with people that are actually open to this level of conversation, right? Actually, I actually know what they're talking about, actually understand these emotions, and have a real heart-to-heart, honest conversation about what it is that you're going through, and be honest with yourself so that you can get the support that you need. And that's that's why I open up myself and my community, and what we're doing here to people, so that they can get the support that they need, and at least at the very least have the conversation, start thinking differently about what's happening to themselves and in this world, right? Like I can't tell you how many people I have around me that I can call on whenever I am in a point of fear. And because of that, I'm able to walk through it very, very quickly and move on with my life and go back into creation mode, right? Exploring the world and giving back to the society around me. So, first and foremost, way to, again, walk through fear is to understand what it is. And that's why we make these videos, so that you can, start to support yourself to understand the starting point of these emotions, and then eventually, educate yourself. And once you educate yourself, you can share with yourself. You can share with yourself first and foremost what's happening, then share with others, and that will at least be the beginning to walk through that. So if you have any questions, as always, drop something in the comments or reach out to me personally. All my information should be in the description below. But it's always a pleasure talking to you guys, and we will talk again soon. This is Jude. Bye bye.